Good day. This is Chidizimabungu from Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation. Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation is the foundation that we founded some years back with the main goal of teaching financial literacy to small business owners, individuals. And right now we're starting a podcast where we're going to be talking everything financial literacy, but not only financial literacy. We are going to talk business development. If you look at the situation that we're in right now in the country, we are experiencing a lot of closures of businesses where big organizations are closing down. And when they close down, all these people who are working there are losing their jobs. The question that we must ask ourselves is, where are these people going after that? And Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation is here to assist and help these people, whether employed or unemployed, to be able to think beyond their own generation, think beyond their own well-being, but also think of the people around them, the people that are going to live in the future. And that is exactly what Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation wants to achieve. So before I talk more about Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation, I just want to give you a background of where this whole thing started. We started some few years back with a company called Uronga Holdings, and then it gave birth to Uronga Accountants. But we asked ourselves one question: how can we then give back to the community? How can we then uplift the people that are paying us every month, are paying us every day, so that they can be uplifted financially and they can understand their finances? So we started Chidizimabungu Financial Literacy Foundation. We teamed up with different TV channels. We teamed up with different radio stations. I won't mention the names, obviously, because obviously I'm in a different platform right now. But we is one of the biggest stations in the country. We teamed up with them, and we managed to do a lot of work for some few years with them. But now we are saying to ourselves, why don't we have a channel where you can get this on at your own time, in your own space, where you are able to now listen to us and listen to the people that we talk to who are experts in different fields. You know, we are going to be inviting experts. It's not going to be me every day. We're going to be inviting experts from the different industry, from the economic side, from the estate side, and from the financial planning side, and maybe accounting also, because we're accountants anyway. So we will be doing all that for you guys. But I want us to look at things that we may talk about. We are in a situation where we are a country of consumers. If you have checked, we are a country of consumers, people who consume. Whenever you have money in your hands, the first thing that you think about is, how am I going to spend it? Whenever you have money, you don't think of buying assets. When I'm talking assets, I'm talking about equipment that can make you money. Buildings, cars, machinery, equipment that can make you money. That's what we are talking about when we talk about assets. But a lot of us don't think about that. And that is why there's too much debt in our portfolios. Our portfolios are made up of debt when you look at your own finances, because we want this lifestyle where you consume a lot. And instant gratification is one of them. But I want to take you back. I want to take you to a time when I was growing up. What I saw and what made me decide that I am going to go into finance. I'm going to learn about money. I'm going to understand money in such a way that I can be able to assist you, to assist me, and to assist people around me about money. When I was young, the year was 1993. Nelson Mandela was out of prison, and everyone was excited. People were chanting all over. You remember in Limpopo, there was a time where the army took over and they were ruling the country called Venda by then. And that is where I was. And during that time, you know, life was good for me. My dad was working, my mom was a housewife, I had a brother, and we were growing up there, going to school in a primary school, changing clothes every day because we didn't have uniform in the school. So every day I could change from one clothing to different. And kids at school used to wish to be me because I had so many clothes in a village, and a lot of kids did not have that luxury. I was staying in a house that was not made of thatch and mud. I was staying in a modern house, and kids were used to wish to be me. But 1993 changed my life. 1992, 1993, my life changed. Because of the democracy that was looming, a lot of companies in Gauteng were wondering whether this is going to be good or bad for them. And a company that my dad worked for decided to retrench and close down the branch that my dad was working at. And my dad lost his job. That was the only guy working in the house, the breadwinner of the family. And when that happened, I started thinking, why my family? I lived this good life. All of a sudden, we don't have a single source of income at home. And my dad started small businesses. He came back home, started different small businesses. None of those businesses survived. And I started asking myself, if I was old enough and educated enough, I would have been able to save these businesses. They wouldn't have closed down. But they closed down. And I could not do anything about it. My dad started farming. You know, we used to go farm different small farms, and we used to wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, and go work. And this was just from you go and plow. When you harvest, you are just harvesting to survive. You are not harvesting to sell. And I asked myself a lot of questions. There are a lot of people who don't like doing this work, which we are doing, which is farming. And we could sell to these people. But when I suggested this as a young boy, my parents never understood. And I asked myself, what do I do to be able to grow this farm to something that I won't have to work? I will have people that will work for me. And this question started coming to me all the time until I went to a secondary school level, Chirara Secondary School, to be specific. When I was there, I was told that this new subject that you can choose called commercial subjects. And I asked, what are these subjects all about? And they said to me, these subjects are about money. These subjects are about business. You can choose science or commerce. I said, I want commerce. And I remembered the reason why I want commerce is because my dad lost his job. And by losing his job, we lived a very basic life where it was just survival. And I didn't want to see that in my life and in the life of those who are within my circle and those who are within this country. So whenever I see unemployment stats, this thing triggers that my dad was one of those statistics, was part of the statistics in 1993, 1992. And I didn't want that to happen again. But I asked myself, how do I do this? Do I become a president of a country? Will I solve this problem by being a president or what? And this commerce subject was my solution. If I can be able to start a business, and this business can be able to educate other businesses so that these other businesses can grow, I won't just employ my circle, but I will put bread in many other people's tables. And all this time when I was studying at school, I used to give examples of shops next door where the owner cannot be able to take care of the shop and he must rent it out to a foreign national who will come and take over the shop and use that shop to make money while the owner cannot run it. I used to give those examples in my economics and all those subjects that I was doing. And some teachers never understood me because they want me to give an example that is far-fetched. But my examples were local because I knew that my economy is the local economy. And when I grew older and when we started branching into universities, I went in, did my first year, my second year, and my third year, and they said, oh, you have to be a chartered accountant. And I wondered whether I wanted to be a chartered accountant or I wanted to be just a business accountant, not even a financial accountant. And I decided to be a business accountant. Did my studies, it's a story for another day when you just want to talk about my journey when it comes to tertiary education. Because what I did was I went to the University of Venda, did my first year, my second year. When I was doing my third year, my grandmother's money was finished because she passed away maybe a year before my third year. And she was now the person who at least was earning something. My dad was a farmer who was not making much. And he said to me, you won't finish your third year. You will have to drop out. And I said, no, I'm going to come up with a plan. Fortunate enough, that December, when I was about to do my third year, I managed to get a full-time job in a bank because I was marketing. I was going up and down, trying to make sure that I get a job. And fortunate enough, I'm getting a job when I'm being interviewed with graduates. And I was not a graduate at the time, but I got the job. Because while I was at tertiary, I didn't sit in the, and this is for all the students in the tertiary institution anywhere in the country. When I was at tertiary, I didn't sit and say, I'm going to wait for my class and go and attend and that's it. I volunteered in an accounting firm in town, in Toyando town. I walked every morning from the university to the town, to the CBD to go and work while other students are at school. And from work, I go and attend my classes. And with that experience, because I knew by then that for you to get a job, you must have experience. But I asked myself, can't you do both at the same time? Gain experience while you're studying. So that experience, though I could not do my third year and there was no money for my third year, that experience made me get a job in a bank. And when I started working in a bank, I said, this is exactly the gold mine that I wanted. I was not there to count money. I was not there to open bank account. I was there to learn. To make sure that my goal, remember the goal? The goal is to help people create employment so that we don't have situations where people around you are suffering. But where else can I learn about money and understanding these things than the bank? I didn't see myself as a person who failed to be an accountant. I saw myself as a person who is doing the first part of becoming an accountant. And I worked in the bank and I wanted to go to all ranks. I worked at inquiries, worked my way into the tellers, where I got used to counting millions, seeing millions every day in treasury. And I counted that money with my own hands. And when I'm done counting, I don't have money for traveling back to my room. I must walk on foot. And I'm counting this money every day. The temptation of stealing money, the temptation of wishing to take 1 rand or 2 rands out of the bundles that you have there or the coins that you see, I overcame that. And that was the first step to financial literacy. Understanding that money is a commodity. Money is not life. And I understood that very well. But when I was working there, I realized that counting money, helping people with inquiries is no longer enough. I want to do more. I went into a space where I said, I want to be a sales consultant. I want to learn how to sell. And I started opening bank accounts and all this. And this is where I met a lot of people. A lot of people who made it in life. A lot of people who were successful. Chiefs of villages, teachers, principals, mayors, counselors. I met all these people, business people. And with all that, I was gaining a lot of information without even getting out of my office. And I learned from that. But with that, with all that learning, I realized one thing. Our people lack understanding when it comes to money. And I saw that working in the individual space for long may delay me from achieving my goal. And I started going deep into working as a priority banker and other levels where I work with people who are rich, people who have a lot of money, to see how they live. How do these rich people make money? How do these rich people make it in life that some of us don't know? What is it that they know that we don't know? And I went into that space and started meeting these people and learned from them. But I was not done. I said to myself, though I understand the individual side of these people, their money, holding their money every day, controlling their money every day, seeing how much they make every day, I've seen all pay slips, believe you me. I know all types of pay slips, be it a police officer pay slip, be it a minor pay slip, be it a CEO pay slip. I've seen them all. I've seen all salaries, whether you're earning $1 million or you're earning 5,000, I've seen it all. Your deductions, I understand them. And I understood all these things. But that was not enough, because full-time employment do not make a lot of people rich. There are few that became rich through full-time employment. But business owners are the guys who make it to the top. I wanted that. I moved from Limpopo to Polokwane, Mokopane. I moved to Gauteng, the land where gold is mined, the land of gold. And I was in the capital, in Gauteng. And here I wanted to learn how to run businesses. I applied and I wanted to be a business banker. And that is where my life changed. Because I realized that a lot of our people of my own skin, do not know much when it comes to business finance. And I'm here thinking that I'm going to be helping them. And I'm seeing all other races coming towards me to get access to funding, to get access to money, to get access to all these things. But my people do not understand how to organize themselves in such a way that they can get these funds. A few did, but many did not, especially in the small business space. Maybe in the corporate level is different, but in the small business space, a lot of people were struggling just to be able to prepare paperwork, to be able to submit to the bank so that they can get funding. Some were so much in debt in such a way that when we look at the owner, we could not be able to fund that person. Yes, of course, I was excited with few people who I was able to assist, but a lot of the people that I was assisting were not my skin color. And the majority of the people in this country are the community like me. But that is the majority that we need to uplift. I'm not talking racial. I'm just saying the majority of the people are the ones that is disadvantaged when it comes to these things. And I worked there thinking that, I'm going to uplift this community. But I realized that the systems that we need, the documents that we need, these people don't really understand them. But what do I do to make these people understand this? I registered my company 10 years later when working as a banker. 10 years after that, later I registered my company. And after registering that company, I called it Uronga Holdings. This is the company that I started. That is 10 years ago, which means I've been 20 years in the business, in the industry. 10 years in my own business, 10 years working for somebody else. So I know both sides. I've worked for corporate, I've worked for small businesses, I've worked for myself, but I wanted to do this more simultaneously. I wanted to understand the nitty-gritties of the insurance space, the nitty-gritties of protecting your wealth. And I went into the insurance space while I was also working as a businessman. I worked alone, one-man business, for some years while I was also pushing a career in financial planning. And with financial planning, I understood that you don't just make money, but you protect it. You don't just have a life, you must protect that life. Because when you lose the life, it means your children are going to suffer because you're no longer there. But how do we maintain this lifestyle that they had when I was alive? Then I started thinking, if my dad understood insurance back then, if my dad had enough money to have some kind of insurance, he would have insured himself for unemployment so that when he's retrenched, he's able to get money. That money would have sustained us. We would have gone to school and finished our qualifications. Mind you, I have not finished my third year at that time when I'm leaving the banking space. I've done banking certificates, I've done all these things, but I still wanted my accounting degree. And while I was busy in the insurance space, I went back to school, continued studying with UNISA. I was studying with UNISA. I left UNISA, I went to another institution, and I worked my way up until I got my qualification not long ago. But the business, the minute I started getting my qualifications from my bookkeeping certificate to senior bookkeeping to accountant, I was now doing books. I was now working directly with small business owners. These are the guys that I wanted to work with all these years back. And I believe even today, correct me if I'm wrong, corporate is not the solution to the problem that we're facing. Small businesses are. If each small business can employ 2 or 3 employees, and we have thousands and thousands and millions of them in the country, almost everyone can get a job. But corporates are big, and when something bad happens, a lot of people lose their jobs. But when one small business closes, only 3 people lose their jobs, or 5 people. And the impact is minimal. And these are the types of businesses that made big economies. If you look at China and others, small businesses play a big role in the industry. And that is the industry, that is the core, that is where I am. And that's what I want to concentrate on. And I worked with these small businesses for the last 10 years. We have registered thousands and thousands of businesses in the company called Wurunga Holdings. But Wurunga Holdings was not enough. It had to give birth to Wurunga Accountants, where we just focus on the accounting side of things, while Wurunga Holdings and these other subsidiaries are focusing on the compliance. And we did that, and it worked. But we want now, as TD Zimbabwe Financial Literacy Foundation, we want now to have a foundation that focuses on financial literacy. Because understanding money and having a good relationship with money is the only solution to the problems that we have. Because the minute you understand the difference between liabilities and assets, the minute you understand the difference between borrowing money to others so that you can make a profit out of them or interest out of them, instead of you being the one who's paying interest every month, the minute we start understanding that is the time where we're going to be free. The minute we understand financial literacy, that is start in your mind. It doesn't start with the money in front of you. How do you perceive money? What is your relationship with money? The minute we start understanding the relationship, the minute we see money as a commodity, as something that can change lives, but as something that must not control lives, we would reduce crime. We will reduce all these negative things that are happening, where families fall apart the minute money from a deceased estate come out. We have situations. A lot of families are not talking to each other anymore because of money. That only tells us that we are a troubled nation when it comes to money. We don't really understand how money works. And that is the difference between us and others who are making it in life because they just understood how money works and things started going well for them. And that is exactly what this journey is going to be about. I want you to join us in this journey. You are not going to regret this. We are going to work together towards a prosperous country. Not only the country, but the continent. Not only the continent, but the world. Because we are going to go out there and be able to do what we want to do. Because financially, we will be stable. And that stability of finance is one thing that is destroying families today. We are not going to talk only about business, but we are going to talk about your money as a family. How many times do partners fight, husband and wife, partners fight about money in their house? How many times do people hide pay slips in their house where no one wants anyone to know how much they earn? When another person's money is not touched by the other, but people are married in community of property. What is yours is mine, what is mine is yours. But at the end of the day, when it comes to money, my money is my money, your money is your money. We can share everything else. And that is exactly why I'm here. And that's exactly what I want to talk about. So, you now know my journey. You now know where I come from. You now know why I'm here. You now know why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because of anything else, but I'm doing this because there are lives that are being lost every day because of hunger. People are unemployed, they are unable to feed their kids. But if this business that is taking this video can be supported and grow, if this man sitting here and his businesses can be supported and grow, other businesses will also be able to grow. Other people will be able to also put bread on the table. We are witnessing a situation now that I predicted some years back. I spoke about this and I indicated that there's no such thing as a permanent employment anymore, where people will say, I have a job, I am permanent, I'm guaranteed, I will never lose this job and I'll get to my pension. Today, you are permanent. Tomorrow morning, you are retrenched. And that's exactly what is happening. But who retrenches you in your own business? No one will retrench you. You can retrench yourself if you want. But people are scared. People are scared of starting these businesses. Some will start and close down. Some will start and run away because it's not easy out here. But why is it not easy? Because we don't have support. We need to start supporting the small businesses. Making sure that when you start, you understand what you're doing. You know exactly why you are there. And you know the challenges that you're going to face. And this podcast is about that. We are going to bring seasoned business people who will come and talk to you to tell you that I was retrenched, but I didn't sit and wait. I didn't sit and cry. I stood up and started something with my pension money. You know, it won't help you. I'm talking to people who are retrenched as we speak now. It won't help you to push everyone away, stay in your house, depressed, finish money drinking and doing all these things. The money that was left for you may be to be able to survive as a pension money that you have received. But if you sit down and plan properly and get the right people around you, you can be able to start something. Instead of employing yourself alone, you may also create employment for others. There's something that happened to you may bring solutions to others. This economy is going through a revamp. This economy is going through a revamp, and we don't see it that way. We see it as a downfall. But the people that are being retrenched, because most of them cannot afford to live in the suburbs, to live in Gauteng. If I'm from KZN, I'm going back to KZN. If I'm from Limpopo, I'm going back to Limpopo if I can't afford to live here. But when I get there, I'm there with new knowledge. I'm there with new skills. If I was working in a factory where we were baking bread, I'm going back home with the skills that I gained there. But what stops me from continuing baking those cakes, from continuing making that chicken? What stops me from continuing building machines, getting fun people in the area? Business people, I'm back, I'm from Gauteng. We know how to make this type of items. We know how to make perfumes. I know what must be mixed to make a perfume. And I want you and me to partner and start a business where we'll make perfumes here in the village. Where we'll start factories here in the village. And when you start that, you create employment in your area. But people are scared. People do not have skills to run their own businesses because we went to school and taught to be employees. But we have to unlearn. It's time to unlearn what we have been taught. We are not going to be looking for work. Where are we going to get work? We are going to create work for ourselves. You know, it's not even 1,000 years ago. It's just a few hundred years ago, maybe 200 years ago, where our parents never had employment, but they were alive. There were no corporates. There were no big mines. These guys mined for themselves. If you go to my TikTok, you will see that. I collect history. I realized that our people were smart. No one was smarter than us. We knew how to build without cement. Go to Mapungubje, you will see. Go to Great Zimbabwe, you will see. We knew how to build without cement. Big buildings. We knew how to farm. We knew how to mine. Go to Nandoni, you will see. In many places, we had industries of our own where we worked and made a lot of food for ourselves. We used to trade in Delaware Bay with foreign nationals who would come and ask us to give them horns and all these things that we have. And we did that. We traded with the Arabs long time ago. Why can't we do it now? Why are we so dependent now? When you want investors to come to your country and you give all to the political parties and the leaders and say, you will do it for us, we'll sit and wait. Nothing will happen. You know, I always say to people, when you get to a town square that is so clean, you don't want to make it dirty yourself too. Even if you have a paper or you are eating a sweet and then you have this paper that you want to throw, you won't throw it on the ground because it's clean. You will keep it and get a dustbin and throw it there. But when you get a filthy place where there's plastics everywhere, when you finish taking out that plastic, you'll throw it on the floor. Why? It's already dirty. Why am I supposed to go to the dustbin? If you don't clean and make your country look attractive, no one will invest in your country. We have to invest in this country ourselves first, so that everyone else can feel that it's a country that we can invest in. And we will only be able to do that when we start creating jobs, real jobs for ourselves. We're not talking about temporary jobs, where you work today and tomorrow morning you're on the street looking for another job. We're talking jobs that I can be able to provide you with bread every morning and have a bakery that is baking bread for all of you in your family. When I'm done baking bread, I want to come and do a haircut, and you are the barber. You are the guy who will cut my hair. You were eating my bread in the morning, I'm cutting my hair. The money that you brought into my shop to buy bread is coming back to you through cutting my hair. And that is how trade is done. If we can repeat this and replicate this everywhere in the country, we can be able to exchange this commodity called money among ourselves. And through that, we will build an economy. That money circulates within the economy first before it gets out of the economy. But whenever money comes into your hands, you give it to a company that is not even related to this country, that is just here to make money, and this money is out of the country. No circulation within or among ourselves. And we need to start learning this. We need to start growing this economy from within. I know we can complain. We are very good at it. If you want something to trend, start complaining. And it will trend. But how long will we complain and do nothing? How long will we feel sorry for ourselves and expect somebody else to come and not feel sorry for us and think that we know what we want? We are supposed to start standing up. And this podcast is meant for that. We want to bring that inner you back, that creative you back, that entrepreneur in you back. We all grow up with dreams. When we are young, we have dreams. I had my dream, and I'm living it right now. And if you want to live yours, join this podcast. Listen to this podcast so that you can learn from others, so that you can be motivated. There's one thing that people don't understand. Your mind is a big thing. It's something that controls you. And what you feed your mind determines your destiny. And this podcast wants to bring that positive mindset back so that we can have hope again and know that we can do this. Not only because we are talking about it. We're not going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking to people who are doing it, who made it. And we have lined them up for you to be able to come and digest what they're going to be giving us. So if you're a child out there who just finished school and you're sitting at home, you don't have a job, but you can still be able to have some data to be able to listen to this. Follow this channel. Follow us in this channel so that you can be able to hear and see what we do. You will be motivated. And this is a journey. We're not sprinting here. This is going to be a long marathon. We're not going to learn everything in one day. If you're not a person who's patient, we want people who are patient here. We want people who are ready to listen, who are ready to change their lifestyle. You know, I always say a habit is learned. You can be having a habit of overeating, but if you start learning a new habit, in less than 6 months, you can get used to it in such a way your body will want it. This is the same with people who exercise. The first day when you want to exercise, you run 1 kilometer and you're tired and you cannot do anything. And the following day, your legs are sore and you don't want to do anything that day. But when you repeat and repeat and repeat, your body gets used to it. And the day you don't go running, your body starts paining. You start feeling that there's something that I didn't do today. And that's exactly how you change your habits. For those who exercise, what happens if you finish weeks without going to exercise? How do you feel? Doesn't your body say to you, I want to go exercise? Because it's a habit that your body is used to now. You can create a new habit. You can create a new you. You can push out bad habits and bring in new habits. The way of thinking. We are going to deal with your brain. We are going to deal with your psyche so that you can first understand that how do my psychology work when it comes to money, when it comes to business. And when we have dealt with that, we'll go deep and deal with ways on how we can be able to make sure that we are able to make money. Because I cannot come here and tell you about budgeting without telling you how you're going to, what are you going to be budgeting if you don't have money? We have to start with how we make money. And how then do we handle this money? How do we budget? How do we take care of our money? How does this money work for me instead of me working for it? And how do I protect this money? How do I build a legacy? What do I leave behind when I'm gone? We cannot be a generation where we think up to the day I die. We should think beyond our death, because we are going to be living generations that are going to take over our legacy and go further with it. And that is exactly what I want to talk about. So we are going to be inviting guests. They are going to be coming here. You must be there waiting for us and listen and understand. You must participate. You must comment. On the comment section, if there's things that are left out, put them there on the comment section. We will attend to them. We'll see how we structure them in such a way that we can be able to educate our people. So we want you to comment. We want you to be part of this. We don't want to just bombard you with information that you don't need. Comment on the comment section. Follow this page. Like this page. And make sure that you are with us whenever we go live, whenever we put something online, so that you can be able to understand what this podcast is all about. I thank you. This is Chirizi Mabongo Financial Literacy, sponsored by Buronga Holdings. Ndandu is the guy behind the camera. His company sponsored all this. And you will see the name of the company and everything on this live. You will be able to see that. And you must follow him. You must support small businesses, supporting each other. I'm out.